this is a caution for myself, because I have been looking at the idea of culture for over 20 years and I think I find it very, very fascinating. So I just wish to share with you my fascination with this idea of culture and cultural diversity. But the way the theme for my talk has been framed on research on cultural diversity in India, I think that would be my savior, because so little has been done. I would like to start by saying that perhaps culture is a very, very common word. Culture is everyone uses it. It has been also a part of social science literature for maybe 130, 140 years. However, some of you may be surprised to know that there is hardly any agreement on what culture actually is. It's one of the most complex concepts in social science. It lends itself to so many dimensions. Actually, there is a specific social science discipline called anthropology, which started in late 19th century with a specific idea of understanding the ways of life in the colonies of the European imperial powers. And anthropology developed a method for it, which is called participant observation, where an anthropologist went to a place, the culture of which he or she wanted to study, and spend a couple of years in that place, and then come back to say what is the kind of way of life there and why is it so. So it was a very, very demanding discipline. On the other hand, in the dominant scientific way of looking at disciplines, anthropology was at times not considered scientific enough. So I just wish to point this out, that study of culture from the research perspective is a big challenge, because if culture is a way of life, it includes a way of thinking, which means, and which is now widely recognized, that all knowledge that we have about human reality tends to be specific to the culture, society, the language. That means all that knowledge we have is implicitly affected by our culture. Even a scientist, when he or she produces a research output, it is likely to be affected by his or her culture. So this creates a very, very puzzling problem for research in culture. Every study of culture would inherently be biased. So there is no neutral place in this world, on this globe, from where you can do a neutral culture study. So that's why study of culture and cultural diversity poses special challenges. In spite of that, people of course have been interested and they have made serious attempts. But given the shortage of time, I will limit myself to studies in the field of management, since we are talking in the context of corporate India. Actually, another aspect of culture studies is that they tend to be very costly. So most of the studies studying more than one culture have been done by foreigners. Perhaps one of the first studies in 50s was done by a British scholar named England. His name was England. But the most well-known and popular study of cultures and cultural variety across the world, in the corporate world, was done by a Dutch scholar named Hofstede. Perhaps academicians present here, the students present here, would definitely be aware of him. That's the most popular way of looking at culture in management world, and that is being used extensively by corporations to help their managers become more sensitive to cultural diversity. But there have been other major studies done which look at multiple cultures across the world, and if I may just mention, apart from Hofstede in England, you have an Israeli scholar, Schwartz. We have an American scholar, Engelhardt, from the University of Michigan. We have another Dutch gentleman, Trompenaars. And the latest global size study was done under the leadership of Robert House from USA, which is known as the Globe Study. Unfortunately, in all these studies, India was a country which participated. I mean, the data was collected from India also. So in that sense, we have some data available through these comparative studies about India. Pull these studies together seems to fall in one cluster in one study, another cluster in another study, and another cluster in another study. My conclusion has been that there is something very unique about India, and depending on the sample taken by the study, it tends to look similar to some other countries. So my own conclusion, as I said, is that we need to understand India better from our own viewpoint to make use of India's culture for creating effective organizations. So I would like to move to the second type of research which has happened, which is Indian scholars trying to understand India. And in that, the most prominent name is that of Professor J.B.P. Sinha, who lives in Patna and who has done pioneering research in this field, first on leadership and then on cultural aspects. And another giant of a researcher, Professor Ishwar Dayal, who has looked at Indian culture and its implications for management. Who else? Professor Venkat Krishnan at the Great Lakes Institute, he was earlier in XLRI, he has been looking at leadership requirements in Indian culture. But then, since we are talking of diversity, I would like to point out that these studies try to treat India as a kind of overarching single culture. As was being said by the NDTV gentleman, that we have so many languages, so many regions, so many, ways of dressing, ways of eating, different food. So obviously we are a multicultural nation. So if we are interested in cultural diversity from Indian perspective, it is extremely important, I believe, to not only look at the cultural differences across the national boundaries, but also cultural diversity within India. And I think for some reason, researchers in India have not paid much attention to it, as far as I can see. And that is where, once again, it was Professor J.B.P. Sinha who started a series of studies, roughly from, I think, sometimes in 90s. I was at that time in IIM Lucknow, and he started studying cultural variety, cultural diversity within India. So I participated with him in those studies, some of those studies, and that is the main body of research available on cultural diversity within India. And on the basis of that, what I and a colleague of mine, Dr. Avinash Panda, did, we pooled those studies together and looked at the distinctions emerging across India. Of course, these were once again did not take a very systematic sample across India. It is not easy to do that scale of study. Such funding is not available. So what was done was, it was a kind of what can be called a convenient sampling in different cities wherever Professor Sinha had professional friends. So a number of cities were studied on that basis. Some of the prominent ones among that were Ahmedabad, Patna, Lucknow, Kolkata, Jamshedpur, NCR, it was also Chennai, Bangalore. And so it is really not a true representation of complete India, but I think that is what we have till date in terms of cultural diversity within India. And we summarized it, and I mean there are very interesting differences between different cities, the data, and more. I have mentioned the cities which had participated in at least 2 of these 4 studies, so that we have some confirmation of one study with another. There's not much time for me to talk about it. This paper was published in Global Business Review, and just to mention, since we are sitting in Delhi, and Gurgaon, Delhi was part of these studies, when we label the cultures based on overall profile of these places, while Ahmedabad emerged as the most growth-oriented and professional, NCR we ended up labeling as mercenary, where people want to make quick buck by hook or crook. So, I mean, every manager knows that it is a different ball game to manage in Bombay versus to manage in Delhi versus managing in Kolkata. But research, not done much. So that's why these studies are valuable. But let me come finally, my 15 minutes, only 5 minutes more with me. Actually, there is a need for the next stage of studies to understand and manage cultural diversity. So far I have talked about comparative studies, national studies, and intranational comparative studies. But I think what is most important is what are called intercultural studies. That means studying when people from different cultures work together, then what happens? And I think that is a new area of research which is emerging. Some preliminary work is happening. A couple of my students have been working in this direction. One of them studied multinationals in India, and she collected data on how Indian employees were reacting to expatriate managers from Japan, from Korea, from Sweden, from England, from USA. Another student of mine looked at what happens when Indian software professionals do work with Japanese software professionals through internet. Another very interesting data where Indians found Japanese more demanding, but they felt they were better to work with than other Indian professionals. I'm also examining a dissertation from IIM Ahmedabad where the candidate has looked at Indo-American interactions and in terms of help-seeking behavior at work. So I think that's another fascinating study. And one of my students is developing a proposal for her research in which she is wanting to understand the interactions between Indians and expatriates, either as bosses or as subordinates. With my academic colleagues to take on this area of research, and with the corporate representatives sitting here, that they must provide access to these researchers. Only then good research will happen. Otherwise, we will keep on recycling Hofstede study in 1980, which may have gone outdated. Thank you very much.